Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. I am sorrowful sister, and this is my turn to talk. Hey, Brina, welcome. Welcome, Angie. Let's see. I'm sorry. Welcome, Frankie. You're number one. Brina, you're number two. Angie, number three. Mr. B, you pull it up at number four. And Grit, Grit, you're number five. Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy. Mr. B is coming up before I even start the show. But come on up. Come on up. Okay, we're going to get started here in a moment. Ninja Bunny, welcome, welcome. Yes, yes. B, you are ready. You are ready. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop it right here. Okay, so everyone, today we're going to change it up a little bit from yesterday, and I want to talk about sorrow, overcome by sorrow. What makes grief for some people hard to bear, and why is sorrow so sorrowful for some and not for others? And when I say so sorrowful, I mean, why do some people really have a hard time with grief where other people, it seems like, I don't want to say they get over it, but um, I guess they're not projecting it the way other people do. Now, I know some people, for their nature, they just hold things in. But other people, they're out there, they're showing their grief, and it's for everyone to see. But for other people, it's you know, if you go to a funeral or something, the family, the wife, the husband, the children, whatever may say, thank you for coming, yes. They go through all the formalities just to get through that day, just to have to deal with all of these people, you know. But you don't see them cry. But do you necessarily have to cry? Does grief mean you have to cry? Because, like a lot of other things, people show their grief in different ways. Um, but for some people, you know, it's just incredibly, when I say sorrowful, it's just incredibly heartbreaking sometimes just to see how some people break down. And this could be not necessarily grief for another human being. This could be grief for a pet. Um, you know, um, this could, be grief for, you know, if you lost a job. Why for some people is grief just so hard to bear? And that's my question for today. So, Mr. B, since you are up here, I'm going to start with you. Do you want to help me start the conversation?
Yeah, we can see how deep this rabbit hole goes. That's fine.
Okay.
Um, well, I guess memories have to do with grief too, in a way. Depends on how you think about the situation or the person or what's going on. If a person focus on the sadness and the separation more than others, and it could cause depression to kick in. But grief is a natural process of life. But if you dwell on it, then it can turn to depression, which everybody can get depressed, but it's different levels of depression. Some people be depressed for a little while, but depression really means a person who's really down and out and they can't get out of the terrible feelings, and hard to get out of bed, and just hard to do normal stuff like just getting out of bed or going to work.
So, but why do you think that it's hard for some people to get out of bed, but for other people, they are able to get out of bed and to function?
Um, I guess it depends on what they're thinking about. Some people are not, I would say motivated, but if someone's focusing on something that's really depressing, it's really putting them down, then they can kind of lose the will of doing anything. Like, what's the use? You know, uh, yeah, motivation. If you don't have motivation or determination, you're not going to do anything. It's like, what's the use? It's like some people who retire. Other people love it. Others people, it's almost like the death sentence because like they don't need to get up for nothing. It's like, well, every day is the same day. So I think it has to do with whole motivation, uh, something to look forward to.
Okay. Ninja Bunny says grief is the price we pay for love. When I lost my grandfather, I had a breakdown and was not in a good place mentally for a long time. And Ninja Bunny, I get it because when my dad passed, I broke down. I totally lost it. I mean, I was just like, you could not. I mean, I'm crying, I'm screaming, I'm hollering, I mean, I broke down. When my mother passed, I didn't. It was a completely different feeling. So, do you think the relationships that you have with people also matter in terms of your grief process? So, Mr. B,
I'm sorry. Can you say it again? My phone
do you
wasn't.
do you think that the relationship that you've had with someone, matters how you grieve?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I for funerals, I always think of it's for the living. It's not for the person who passed away. Yeah, I find it interesting how not always, but my experience is the ones who are crying the most are the ones who haven't spent time with that person. And I'm not saying the person who was there for the individual isn't sad, but in my experience, they're not the ones crying so much. They're not the ones saying we should have done this or we could have, and I wish I had the opportunity to say this. Because when a person's gone, that's the separation. But if you're with the person, you can, you know, still do stuff with the individual. So if you don't have a relationship with somebody and they're gone, and then you start thinking about the stuff that you should have done or could have done, yeah, that's very hard to digest.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, growing up, like I said before, I did a lot of stuff with my dad. Just mainly from him taking me from point A to point B, and talking or whatever. Then when I moved out of state, we still talked. And then I went back home. I always made a point of always wanting to be around him. But when he passed, I mean, it was I think it was more of a shock because he passed in a sleep. It was just natural, as opposed to him being sick, or us knowing that he had cancer or something like that, knowing that the end was coming. So and that's and that's also hard. Welcome, Balram and Lurak. But uh, but Mr. B, you said something. Trying to think. Oh, you said something about memories. And memories. Grief when you have those people who can't get out of bed because they are grieving, can those memories keep you from ever moving on? I mean, are you thinking about the good times, that you've had, or the times, or even the bad times, that you're constantly thinking about those memories that will keep you from getting out of bed?
Uh, when I've experienced it, I try to just think about the positive, like the good memories, and try to use that as a way to move forward. Like memories can be used to teach you something, or a memory can be used to put a smile back on your face. Kind of like a song. Like a song you don't hear it, but if you stop thinking about it, you can hear it in your head a little bit, right? So I think if we use memories like that, what helps me is like my favorite cartoons, growing up, but I can just think about it and it makes me smile again. So I think if a person learned to use them to put a smile back in the face, oh yeah, I remember when this happened, and start looking at it like a happy rerun in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then and when I woke up this morning and I was thinking about the show, I realized the date, because I honestly did not, when I was posting the topics on Sunday evening, I was not paying attention to the date or whatever. And today is my parents, or would have been my parents' 64th anniversary. And the last time I said happy anniversary was to my mom last June. Even though my dad was gone, I still, would, say happy this or whatever. So, I was thinking about it, but again, it's like my thoughts, mainly because of the relationship, went more towards my dad than to my mom. And you get a little melancholy, a little melancholy. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But memories, you know, whether good or bad, I think that when you lose a person, it's good to reflect um, on those memories. But that's just me. But
I
uh,
think you're right.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
because I think memories are a blessing. Uh, because what would be worse to spend so much time with somebody and don't remember nothing? I think that would be the greater, like Alzheimer's. I'm not saying it's a curse, but that's really hard. Someone loving you, taking care of you, and you don't remember them at all. So I think memories are a blessing.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I've heard that people who have had to take care of parents with Alzheimer's, it's harder for the caretaker, especially if the caretaker is a child, than it is for the person with Alzheimer's, because you realize that they don't know who you are. They may have flashes of it here and there, but for the most part, you know, they don't remember or have the memories that you do. And I think that would be, I mean, for me, that that would hurt. To me, that would, that would make me very sad.
Yeah, I think so too. Just waking up and not remembering anyone, but people know you. Um, it's like sometimes when I go to the store, it hasn't happened for a while, but like I'll go to the store and somebody's runs me, hey, how you doing? You remember me? Blah blah blah. Then no, remember me? We did this and that, and I don't remember nothing about them at all. But
Yeah,
I
we,
just fake it,
yeah,
but I feel bad. I'm like, good
yeah,
lord.
we've all, yep, yep,
But they're so happy to see me though. I'm like, wow, I feel like a jerk. I don't remember you at
you
all.
don't remember you at all.
you know? Man.
But then but for okay, but in situations like that, we can say, we may embarrass ourselves, but we could say, I'm sorry, I don't remember you, or I don't, who are you? And
No, not me. I fake it. I fake it. I fake it. Unless I get busted, which happens sometimes. I just fake. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. I don't remember nothing. Sometimes I remember later on, but no. But yeah, you're right. We could say, "Hey, I don't remember you at all. Can you refresh my memory?" Then I still fake. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. Nope. Sometimes it never comes back. It's
you
gone
know,
forever.
the same thing with names, because sometimes depending upon who it is, I'll remember someone's name. Like if they always do a certain thing, or if they have a particular habit, then if I meet someone, I'll remember their name. But there are plenty of people who, I haven't remembered their name, and I'm like, and they're like, hey, and you're like, they call me by name. I'm like, hey, you just kind of feel silly because you're kind of leaving it hanging. But I have gone, I have said, I'm sorry, what is your name? And then they'll laugh and they'll say, oh, my name's so and so. I'm like, okay, and then I remember, but even as an Alzheimer's person, I guess it must also be scary for them to wake up and not know where they are. And here's this person who even you have been around, this is your mom or dad, whatever, but they look at you like, who are you? And I'm pretty sure they're kind of scared too. So I'm
Yeah,
sure they feel some degree of sorrow also, because to me it's like they're trapped in this world where they don't know or remember anything, and it could be
mhm.
very hard and sorrowful for them.
That's why some of them get angry. They get mean. Some of them because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going on. One of my favorite stories is when I was a security guard. I worked in hospital sometimes. So anyway, I walked suicide watch, and sometimes I had to watch uh, patients who would just wander away, and sometimes they had Alzheimer's, right? Because it's not good for them to go outside by themselves, right?
Right.
So anyway, it was my job to watch a patient this day, and I walked in. That family was there, and they was talking to everything, and she looked at me, and I kid you not, she said, "Hey, how you doing, Ben?" I said, "I'm doing good." And then she said, "Are you still selling them red dresses?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still selling them red dresses." She said, "But down the street?" I said, "Yeah." We started talking about the store that I never had, uh, selling them but beautiful red dresses. And the family came to me and they said, "Oh, you know her?" I said, "Nope." They said, "What?" I said, "Nope." I just carry along, talk to her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that was very nice, because a lot of people would just say, get away from me, or just keep going. So
Yeah,
I want to read some of the comments. Alpha Mike
good.
says, I hate when they say time heals. It doesn't. You just learn to accept it. Alpha Mike, I agree with you 100%. Time doesn't heal. You do just accept. I mean, you just accept what is, because that's what it is. Ninja Bunny says, my grandmother died 6 weeks after my grandfather, and I was more prepared. But 6 weeks, that's still a short time frame. I hear you, Ninja. And Lurak says, mine was backwards. My grandpa died a month after my grandma. That was a real broken heart. 58 years married. Okay. Um, okay. And yep. Pish, 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 pish. Pish, pish. Who are you? Pish, pish. Pish, pish, pish.
Are you
I am,
cursing?
no, I'm saying pish, pish. You know, because I always have to be out, look out for my troll. Okay. Ninja Bunny says, yeah, my grandparents were married 62 years. Their love was beautiful. Okay.
Hold on, you said now I got a question. You said time don't heal. Who said that?
Okay. That was Alpha Mike. He says, I hate when they say time heals. It doesn't. You just learn to accept it. And
Hell
I
no.
was saying that I agree with him, because I don't think time heals. I think that you learn to accept it.
That's interesting.
Okay. You want to tell me why?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, if you learn to accept it, isn't that a form of healing?
Well, it could be, but I mean, death is death. I mean, you can't bring the person back. So you are accepting it, but is time healing your grief or your sorrow? I mean,
I guess you got to be one. It's a perspective. You're right, but overall, you got to want to be healed, right? You got to start. You got to want to understand why something like that may happen, because death happens, right? And you
I
just
mean,
had the
death
person.
happens every day. I mean, it's going to happen to all of us. So
Right, right. So what I'm saying is that if at the point you find out, you're kind of like in awe, shock, but after time goes, you're able to function. That's a form of healing. You're able to understand and accept. Not necessarily like it. You ain't gotta like it, but that's a form of healing to be able to move on, not necessarily want to end your life or just not. Some people go into a funk. Like I know it's hard for me in some cases. You go in a funk in certain situations. You just to get out of that funk and actually move on. And some people may not never do it, but for the most part, I think that's a true statement. I don't think that's an
I mean,
illegitimate statement.
okay, but to me, moving on doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that that you've healed. All it means is
Mm.
that, like Mr. B and I were talking about, being able to get out of bed. Just because I'm able to get out of bed, doesn't mean that um, I've accepted it.
But
It
with
just means that, I mean, and,
mm,
and you have people who have lost people, and they can function, but they're not really there.
right,
So
so whenever you get hurt or break a leg or arm, you're not the same no more. I get that, but that don't necessarily mean you can't like get better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's better than what you were when you first found out, right?
right,
So
but
3 years
breaking a
later,
leg
so that's a
is
form.
but
I
breaking a
mean,
leg
obviously,
is
I'm
different
not. I'm talking
from
about
death.
right, right, right. But I'm saying, but the point wasn't that when you hurt yourself, a lot of times you end up different, or something happens, you're not the same anymore. You may not be able to function as properly or like what you used to, right? But that don't necessarily mean you don't get better or able to function, because a form of healing, you can only have time to execute any kind of form of healing. Because when you say, for instance, when you get the bad news, you might be not be able to even freaking move for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But then you gradually be able to function. That's a form of healing. I'm not saying you got to be forget or it's because it's like you said, it's not a wound actually.
Okay,
So you
all
can't
right,
take it to the next
okay,
aspect. Yeah.
okay, all right, okay. I can I can go with that. Alpha Mike says it's like just putting a band-aid on broken pieces of glass to keep it together. And Lurock says most of my kids carry their grandfather's name, and they also carry some resemblance of them too. And GB Man says everyone has their own remedy, which is true. Everyone has their own remedy for
Yep.
a lot of different things.
Coke and hookers.
Let me ask you guys this. Someone once I had a discussion with someone. We were kind of going back and forth, and this person thought that people who go to court um, to do the victim statement thing before the person is sentenced, um, that it was silly and they need to get over it. And when that person said that, I thought that was cold. I thought it was a cold thing to say. Um, because to me, and again, I'm just saying to me, if you go to court and you're in court for um, attending the trial of the person who killed your loved one, um, to me, that's part of grieving. You showing up at court every day and you having to relive, your loved one's last days or hours or minutes, whatever. That's a part of grieving. When you do a victim statement, that's a part of grieving. So, what do you all think? Do you think that, you know, people should not give a victim statement? And considering here in the US, if you kill somebody in 2000, that court trial may not be until 2024. So for 4 years, you're going through this, and maybe even longer for some things. So do you think that, I mean, do you agree with me that um, when you give a victim statement, that's also part of grieving? Or do you think that you should pretty much just let the system do whatever they're going to do, and that's it.
No, I think it should be up to the person. I mean, if they do it, then it's part of their healing. Yeah, I think they should have the right to speak. Um, to 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 take that right away from somebody, or and just to say it's nonsense or unnecessary, I think that's just cruel and unnecessary.
Okay, all right. So, do you think that when you see people who break down in court, um, when the perpetrator gets up and says something like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," then the family, some people start breaking down or howling and screaming or violently attack that person. Um, do you think that that's also grief? Or do you think that they're
Um,
just, or do you think they're just pissed off that this person, this monster, or whoever they see this person to be, is standing here in front of me saying, "I'm sorry for killing someone that I love." Welcome, shy lady.
I think it helps more people than we realize. Sometimes I think people who watch it and see it, they might like, wow, that really affected them or touched their heart somehow. I think it's necessary. I think it's sad, of course, but I think it's kind of helps a person to realize this has really happened in like processing. Some people will have to go to court and see all that to really process it. It's more like when my friend passed away, it was a closed casket because his body was messed up. So for a long, long time, it was hard for me to process that he was gone. Yeah, I knew he was gone, but I couldn't physically see his body. So yeah, I think some people need that to go through the course if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, Chill, you want to, so what do you think about the whole going to court and doing the victim thing? Is that grief, or just you're pissed off and you just want to tell that person whatever?
Well, this is a question I'm not quite sure I can accurately answer. Um, yeah, it could do a lot for the culprit, right? So if I'm say I'm a gangster and I'm just like, and I have a mentality. Like a lot of these kids out here don't give a damn. Like they really like them don't give a damn about nothing. And so when you're sitting there in the reality that you're about to get locked up for life, and you were just on some silly stuff, and then now you have to sit in this jail cell and think about what you really did without no freedoms. Either that may be it affect you positively, right? It may be not a good thing to take, but it may be able to affect you, give you some sense of sorrow. Not even if it's that day, you know what I mean. Just having to replay those things back in that, so it can be helpful. I didn't even know. I don't. I To be honest, I lean on the side of like, why would that even happen? Why does it? Why is that a thing? But I get, since like I said, closure for the family. You know what I'm saying? It's for the family, not that person. So I mean, if that's another punishment to the crime, or I don't know whatever you deem it is. I guess that can be a thing. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you kill somebody and you want to know. But sometimes I guess it depends on how, if it's warranted or not. Like if it's manslaughter or something like that. I'm not quite sure in what instance. I'm not really familiar with the victim statements and how they're executed and under what scenarios. But if it's like manslaughter, drinking and driving, I don't think that would be like a thing that I would want them to do, because sometimes that would be already like they already devastated. I mean, they already messed up over it. Like they, you know, made a huge mistake what they should have never ever done. But to kind of pile on, that can seem kind of uh uh I don't want to say abusive or whatever the word is I'm looking for. It's
Wait, you're
necessary.
okay. When you say pile on, you're saying from the victim saying something to the perpetrator?
Right. So in certain scenarios, say if I'm a drunk driver and I kill somebody in the reference of manslaughter, like I said, if it's not, if I'm a murderer, fine. But if I do something out of like an accident, like a manslaughter, manslaughter is typically like a accident or a freak, car accident or a DUI. Someone killed somebody because they was drunk, fell asleep on the road or something like that. Maybe happened. And so not to let them come in and say, you know what, you were irresponsible for driving sleepy or drunk, and then let like 4 or 5 people come on and just pile on, and they already feel like shit about it. I don't know if that's appropriate, but I mean for like a person that's especially not going to be sentenced to death, let them have it. Let them have it. So I don't know. It's more seems like it's for the family though, but I don't.
Well,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Chill, I'm about to push back on you a little bit. Welcome, Juju. I'm about to push back on you for a little bit because I'm for your DUI statement. If you are drunk and you're driving and you kill someone, whether or not you kill someone, to me that's not an accident. That's you getting into a car knowing that you were drunk and you had a vehicle that was a you were getting into a vehicle that could be a weapon and it killed someone. To me that's no, and again, to me that's no difference from you going up to the person and you just stab them. So if I'm going to get up in court, I'm gonna be more pissed off at you than the person who did stab my my
Mm.
loved one, because you should have known better. You should have known that you never should have gotten into that car while you were drinking.
So you're asking the person that's drunk to be rational.
I'm saying that you said that if a victim statement, that if someone's giving a victim statement for someone who had a DUI and they killed someone, you're standing in court. You are rational. You can understand exactly what I'm saying. But you're saying you're asking a person who is drunk to be rational. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
So when if
yeah,
I'm out
yeah.
drinking and you're asking me to be responsible while I'm drunk, I mean I don't know if that's rational.
Well, then okay, chill. Let's put it like this. If you know you're going to go out drinking, then just leave your car at home or drive with
Oh yeah, yeah, got you.
someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Of course, of course, of course.
You know, but
Now
but but if
that
you're
right
but
there is yeah, yeah. Well,
you
that's no
know
question.
but you have people who will go into a bar or wherever, go over their friend's house, whatever, and you're drunk and you're drinking and you know you have to get home and you get into that car. So you know before you even start drinking that, well, how am I going to get home? Either I'm an Uber or, call a cab, whatever, or I have the option to get back into my vehicle. So yes, somewhere along the way, I'm expecting you to be rational, be responsible, and maybe once you stop drinking, maybe you've had two, leave it at that, and then take your butt home. And when you start going, oh, well, I can just have one more, or I can just have one more. Yeah, I am asking you to be rational. Yes, I am.
I'm not. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just thinking to myself that that's a to ask someone to be like, cause maybe you go somewhere you're not expecting to get drunk and you do it anyway. Like you had one too many you didn't necessarily know for whatever reason, and you could and or when you're getting the point is to get drunk is that you're drunk. So when you have one, two, you may be good, but then you're not in your right mind. So you have another one, you have another, and then I think Lou said it, and they said if good people around you won't let you drive. It happens at every fucking just 4th of July or every festival. You can't people around you can't stop a person from physically stop you from doing certain things. A whole party of people, so people
No,
drive drunk all the time, right? That's not even the thing. But what I can say is that when you start drinking, you become irrational. And so, if you know that you like that, you should try to prevent it. But you're talking about preventive measures. So when situations come up like this and that you're necessarily not expecting it, you get in the car, you're drunk now, you got to go home. You ain't got nowhere else to go home. You can call an Uber, but you're not really thinking like that. You're thinking you're all right enough to drive. I've done it a million times before. I do this all the time. I've done it all my life and never done it. It's never happened. So why would this time be any different? Boom, you hit somebody, it's manslaughter, and then and they feel shitty about it, like and validly so. But they're in jail for it. They're about to be gone for it. So to have them say mission statements about how stupid they was after they already know how
oh, wait,
stupid
wait,
they
wait, wait,
was.
wait, 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 wait. No, 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 no. I'm not. Okay. I get where you're coming from, but you don't get that pass just because yes, you were
Got you,
stupid,
got
whatever.
you,
But you don't. But you
got you.
don't. You don't get that pass because you just killed. You are still living.
Yeah, I get it. I
So
get it. I'm just saying I don't know if that's
you may be in jail. So yeah, if I'm going to pile it on and say, yeah, you are still stupid, and yes, you're stupid, I'm gonna reinforce the fact by getting up in court and telling you that you were stupid, but you're a stupid person alive going to jail, and you'll be out in probably 10 years or less. Meanwhile, my loved one is not coming back.
but it's not like they're off the hook though. It's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, and I get that, but I'm just saying, to say that you're piling, because the phrases you use is you're piling, that
Right, right,
you're
right.
piling it on, and you know what? And I'm a pile it on. I'm a pile it on because the bottom line is whether you were that alcoholic or whether you were just out for the night and you just got drunk, whatever.
Hmm.
The fact still stands is you killed someone. And hold on, before you comment, I just want to read what Alpha Mike
Okay.
says. He says, being an alcoholic, though, you aren't truly aware of what's going on. Sometimes you do stupid shit like getting behind a car. I ain't going to go back to being an alcoholic. Fuck that nonsense. It's bad for your physical and mental health. Okay. So, okay.
So I guess
No problem, Rock.
one thing I do want to mention is that it's in that scenario, it's not like they're the gangbanger or the murderer that just shows no remorse. They already feel like horrible. Then they have to live with that. Like I don't know if I would want to ever live with something like that either. That's kind of a like I that would be hard to live with. You know, I would love to see like a suicide rate or something like, or what like mental rates of those people who have done something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like obviously it's a
But
huge.
you're also added, but I don't want to be concerned about you and your suicide. I'm going through grief. I'm going
Huh?
through sorrow. Be concerned about how I'm feeling and
I
how my family's
I
feeling, and that
of course,
so
that's a
I'm not
given.
concerned about how if you're going to commit suicide. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
But that's the thing. I got you, but that's kind of you don't think like a kid that's out drinking with their buddies that does something stupid and you don't have no remorse for that kid at all.
When you kill someone, for to me,
Damn.
when you kill someone, it's sorry.
I
I
mean,
mean
it's easy
that
to say
comes
that
first.
now, but if you if it's your child or if it's your husband or if it's your mother, you will definitely gonna feel some kind of you from you speaking from that point of stand. You're not even thinking about the other side that you're gonna be like, yeah, you deserve everything you get. Your husband,
You know
he
what? You
just
know what? I'm glad you said that because because um who was I having the conversation with? Shy lady, was it you? No, it wasn't you. Who I was having a conversation with someone this weekend over Miss Robbie from Sweetie Pies.
no, I don't.
Okay, Mr. B, you know who Miss Robbie is?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, she had a show, but Sweetie Pies is a restaurant. She has like three of them. And her son, and it's been in the news and what have you. Her son did a contract killing for and had someone murder her grandson. And he did it for money. And when her grandson was murdered, the reality show was still going on. So you saw what the family was going through and what her son, Tim, was going through. Oh, yeah, he was this, he was this, he was this, he was this. Then come to find out, the FBI got involved because it was, because the person who did it, they were doing this investigation and everything. And the person who actually pulled the trigger, rolled and said, well, it was him, whatever. And he was already in prison once, I do believe, for murder. And he got out. Started helping his mom with the business. It was a whole family thing, brothers, sisters, cousins, everyone was part of this family business. So now, she's sticking by her son, which is her son. She loves her son, whatever. She's sticking by her son. But what do you do when you're looking around and you're looking at the dynamic feisty one. That's who I was talking to about this. You're looking around and you see how much you fractured the family. So if my son killed someone, yeah, I still love you. I'll come visit you in jail, but you killed someone. That's not the same as you robbed a bank, or you broke into a bodega or something. You killed someone. And to me, that takes it up to the next level.
But I got it. But I'm just thinking like that's why I was trying to differentiate the murder or the gangster from like say certain like I don't know if they you do victim statements. I don't know. Maybe it's only I don't know when maybe you got a request. I don't even know how that process is. Maybe they request to have for them to do that in any scenario, even if it's not death. I'm sure it could be a rape. It could be. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of ways you probably can give a victim statement for something that emotional trauma causes a family. So it's probably a request that's made. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I just think like if that's the case, like in my head when I was thinking that, I'm thinking like a actual event, like it's like a 16-year-old boy that you know killed like I don't know if it's an old woman or man that was like just it was just drunk, and he was just did something stupid. He just doing whatever every other high school kid normally does on a regular basis and did something stupid. And now I couldn't imagine, not to say he didn't do a bad thing. Of course he knows he did a bad thing. He's horrible. Like you wake up the next morning and you're like, it's like a bad dream for the rest of your life. You got to deal with that. That's something. You know what I'm saying? And it's that's something you got to live with. That right there alone is a huge. So just to add on to that, like it's just not like I'm already about to probably. So if I do kill myself, are you happy?
Um,
That's the only
I,
that's the
I
only
mean,
recourse for me to get remorse. Let me kill myself, and then now you're now the fact. Hey, thank God. You know
no,
how
no, but
disgusting that
no,
is.
no, no. But at the same time, it's also disgusted to me. Is you're putting here I am grieving, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to have someone come over to me, a court person or someone say, well, this kid is only 16 and he did something stupid, whatever. But the fact still stands is, welcome John Gale, the fact still stands is this person is still dead. Yes, you did a stupid thing at the age of 16, but at the 16, I mean, a lot of teenagers do stupid things, but a lot of teenagers also do stupid things that don't end up in someone dying. So I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
got
I
that.
mean,
Yeah, I
I
got that.
I
Yeah.
understand the whole forgiveness thing and everything like that, and you don't want to pile it on, but here I am sitting in court listening to you, a 16-year-old, saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." And my feelings are still raw over the fact that we still don't have so and so sitting at the dinner table. We still don't have that person here. So I don't, my feelings are
Mm.
are 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 very raw. So am I really supposed to be able to cut off and tune in to what your child is saying? Because oh, but he's only 16. Well, my kid could have only been 16, or even if it was my grandmother who was 80 or whatever. You still
No,
killed
I ain't
someone.
tripping. I understand. I understand that, but I'm just saying that to be able to sit there and make it's not like especially they a lot of times the the people who are the defendant or whoever the culprit they've spoke about it and they are maybe they are bawling crying feel horrible and then now you get victim statements to tell you to reiterate what they just said, which is fine. I mean that's but I'm just thinking like that's it's kind of slightly harsh, you know what I'm saying, to some degree, but I understand why a person wouldn't care because that's what they deserve. But I'm thinking like if that's your mentality, then what else does he deserve? Where does that line?
I
If you just
again,
if you just spew hatred towards the boy because he made a mistake, and then as an ultimate sacrifice, I understand that that's horrible, but to just be to pile on and then be like, so yeah, so it seems like it's no other, especially with a lot of these people, there's no other way to do that
but chill,
besides just like saying, hey, well, you should get the death penalty too.
but chill. I'm just saying that when you're in court and a family makes a victim statement, they are still grieving. They are still, I mean, again, like I said, they sat there through this entire court case and stuff. They are still filled with grief. And you want me to feel sorry for this person who made me feel the way I'm feeling and why we're here in the first place. I'm just saying that maybe on 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 the perpetrator side, maybe they need to understand just a little bit of why right now is not the time to ask me to feel sorry for your child or your husband, your daughter, whatever. Right now is not the time.
Oh no,
Maybe
no, no, that's not what I'm saying though. That's not what I'm saying. I'm you talking
maybe
about victim statements.
right, right. And I'm saying, so yeah, we are doing the whole victim statement thing, but I'm just saying right now is not the time for me to worry about how your family member is feeling, you know, and he's living and breathing while I'm still grieving.
Oh
So
yeah, I got that. What I'm saying is that we're not looking. You're looking at the family. I'm thinking objectively as the courts. We're acting. Your question is that a good or bad thing, and so I'm saying in the situation of
no,
like a
no, no,
murder,
mine,
maybe.
no, no, mine was, do you think that when you give a victim statement, do you think that that's still part of grief? Do you think that the family, when they give a victim statement, that they are still grieving?
I mean, I don't. I mean,
Or
obviously, yeah, of course.
okay, because
But that
okay,
I don't
and
know if
and,
that's
and actually
yeah.
I said, are they grieving, or do you think they are pissed? So
Uh,
um
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much hell yeah. Especially if you got to get up there and make it.
if you would.
You got to get up there and make a statement. That's you go out your way to do that.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said something else. Um, Bart, you know my shows. They go from here to there. Whatever. So, Mr. B, did you want to chime in or?
Oh no, y'all two doing great with this court stuff.
I mean, it's just that people grieve in different ways, and I understand that some people can immediately turn around and say, I forgive you. Some people never will, and some people it takes a while to get there. But again,
Hmm.
when we were talking earlier about people who lose someone and they're not able to get out of bed, or they're not able to function, going through that court case and listening to that, that's another way, that people are another way for people to stay in bed and for them not to function, because they're just trying to get through so much just to get to the point where they can be somewhat okay.
Right, become trying to get out of being numb.
Right, right. So uh you know you see people doing these victim statements, and um I remember this happened probably about 15 years ago. You all may remember this person. Young girl, um I think she was 16 years old, got was well, she I don't remember if she got hit by the car first and then she died, or she died when she was hit by the car. But another kid about 17, 18, driving, DUI, and all he got was, basically, uh slap on the hand, and then the parents went back and said, no, 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 this person killed our daughter. He needs to go to jail. And they went and petitioned and, did all kinds of things. I think he ended up spending like five years, and it was manslaughter. They didn't say murder. It was manslaughter. So what the parents did to remind this boy for the rest of his life, and I'm pretty sure he is still doing it, they wanted him to pay them. The family wanted him to pay them like something like 500,000, but they didn't really want the money. So what the boy did was his parents were well off, and he wrote out a check. The boy wrote out a check for the amount, and the parents tore it up and said, "No, you are to write us a check every year for $1." And for the first 10 years that this boy was doing this, it was driving him crazy. It was making him feel guilt on top of guilt on top of guilt. Do I think that's fair? Yep. So
How's that fair?
because he's reminded that he's still walking around living, and that was what the mother's main point was. Every time you for every year that you're writing us a check for $1, and they never cashed any of them for every year, because her whole thing was, you need to remember my daughter. You need to remember that you are, you may have to, write this check, and however it makes you feel, whatever. You
Hmm.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you are still walking around, my daughter's gone.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just another grieving. To me, that's just another way for someone to
I
grieve.
just don't see how that's gonna help like that.
Welcome, the only crazy lady. I'm sorry, I missed you
Yeah,
there. Go ahead,
I
Chill.
don't know how that's gonna help. Like I just feel like in that process, I'd be scared to like it's a humanity thing. Like you want to lose your humanity in that process. You don't want to become cold hearted. I mean, which always happens, and I see that all the time, and it just becomes for like I don't know, like it
But
just
okay, but okay,
overcomes
but
some people's lives, right?
it's death though. That person's
I,
gone.
what? But that you're living. You're
Yes,
living.
yes, 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 yes. But I'm living
So what I'm saying
without.
is that I got, that's understood. But I'm saying you're still living. Do you think that person? Do you think that person that died wants you to go through this while you living? That carry on like that in such a
Probably not.
morbid state?
I mean, I
Okay, so
mean,
what
I
I'm
mean,
point is this: that it's a
so
humanity in it involved. So I'm
Mm.
saying that for you and them, you want to overcome. Not say forgive, forget, whatever. But I'm saying you got that. That's not no way to live.
Yeah. If you become a villain, I mean, a victim can become a villain.
That's what I'm
true,
saying. So
true,
I'm
true,
thinking like this.
true.
That's that opens up that go gate to be that way. And now you're pessimistic. Now you don't give a damn about nobody. You don't. So now you just the shitty people. You becoming the person that you just despise.
Mm.
True, true.
So that's my fear. I mean, I think of the totality of it. So that's I mean that's why I feel like I understand that you don't want to forget. Like you just gotta man. And then now it's that energy. You see that energy, and that, a lot of times that energy you get that back, right? You put the energy out in the world like that, it comes back tenfold. Now you ain't got no friends, or everything that you see is pessimistic. You can't trust nobody, because that's the energy that you give off. So you're gonna obviously you're gonna bring that back. So and that's the thing that you want to be aware of, because I don't know. I just think like still it's your life. You want to be blessed, and you want to have a good life. You want to still cherish this thing that you know you can look at it as a doomsday or a opportunity I might had 20, 30. I mean how many
Okay,
years
but
I had
okay,
with that
okay,
person. You want to appreciate those things. You want to balance it
but
out is what I'm saying. You want to forget but you want to balance it so it would overtake you.
okay. Welcome, Power Girl. And Captain Jimmy was here, and I wanted to say something to him about his show, and he popped out. Um, um, okay, I understand what you're saying. I truly do. But do you blame the people who react the way that they do because they are grieving?
Oh
And
no, no,
before
no,
you
I'm not blaming them.
okay,
I'm not.
so okay, yeah, hold on. Let me go to Crazy Lady. Welcome, Crazy Lady.
I was gonna say I can
Okay, you are
understand.
very, very faint.
Okay, hold on. Talk a little
Crazy
louder.
lady, I know you ain't gonna get you no
You
$2
you
headphones.
are you're very, very faint. We can barely hear.
She got it from the free store.
I can understand why the mom would feel that way, especially being a drunk
Okay,
driver.
better.
You know what I mean? You know, for at least one day a year, that guy is going to remember by him driving drunk, which is illegal. cause someone else to lose their life. I totally get it. You know, I totally get why she did that. You know, um, and I benefit, you know, because how does that benefit anybody? Well, it benefits her, but also, you know, that kid, you know, I guarantee you, he probably will never drive and drink again. You know what I mean? Because I mean, a life is a life. You know?
But what is the sufficient punishment? I want to ask Crazy Lady for that person. For what is the sufficient punishment for that victim, that family that's feeling that way? What for them? What do you feel is sufficient punishment for that person?
I can't answer that because I'm not, you know,
Huh?
I'm not that person. You know what I mean? I mean,
I mean, of course.
uh,
I mean, if you can comment in general, I mean, I would feel like you would
you
be
know,
able to
yeah.
answer that.
I think I totally think that him having to write a dollar check once a year is I think that probably was the better punishment than the 5 years in jail, probably, in my
You know what?
opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Straight up.
To do what? I'm sorry. To do what?
I think that him having to write a check for a dollar at least once a year for, you know, I think that's actually a better punishment than the 5 years in jail, personally.
What? $1?
Yes.
Meaning
The
that you're
the
just trying to
the amount
remind
the
him every
amount is
year
the
that
amount is
he
irrelevant, okay? It's the
what
action that he has to sit down and think about what he did.
for the rest of his life. So you wanted him not to
Yep.
be able to move on now either.
No, he can move on, but still, you know, to you know reflect and you
Hmm.
know,
So I'm just trying to figure. I mean, that's not. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a good or bad. I've never thought about it. Like, can you move on if you? Maybe you can. Maybe you're okay with that. But that's. I don't know. I have to
I
think
mean,
about
well,
that one.
okay, but people, you know, I think Lou Rock said it, you know, when he said, you know, people say time heals and, you know, you have to move on and, you know, and things like that. When people are grieving, you know, and you see different stages of grief. For some people, it's really hard, you know, and then when they, you know, or, you know, if the person gets out of jail and you know that this person's walking around or they just got a tap on the wrist or, you know, something, and your loved one is gone. How do you reconcile that?
That's what I'm asking.
You know,
So should I go out and kill this person or get this person
no,
killed?
but
Would that is that
but for some
no?
people,
Hear me
for
out. Is
this
that
particular
what's going to make
family,
you
they
feel
wrote the
better?
check. Well,
I got
for
you.
this particular, right. So everyone
But
has their
what's
own level of what's going to make them feel better. And for this particular family, it's this boy writing out this check.
so I got that. So you let anybody grieve on how they want to grieve, but when does it become all right? Well, you killed my daughter, son, uncle, father, mother. I kill yours. When is it not acceptable?
I
When
mean,
that family's
chill. I
grief is
mean,
not acceptable because we saying we can't tell them how to grieve.
well,
So
chill.
when
I don't know. I
mm,
don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't know because when you see, okay, let me ask this. I'm going to take school shootings. I'm going to take the shootings of Sandy Hook and Uvalde. Okay, so, um, you know, I'm sorry. I got to once again think my troll is back. You got a lot of email addresses. You must have them written down on a list. Okay, so you know,
It's open, bro.
you have these school shootings. Okay, so are you just going to tell people whose children got torn up and some of them decapitated, you know, with a automatic rifle that okay, it's been a year, move on?
but I don't
You
know.
know, I
That's not
mean,
equivalent though. That's what I'm saying. Like I understand murderers and and kind of like gangsters and I get that. But I'm just thinking in reference to when we was talking about victim statements, and so is it? And initially, you asked like, is that a? You asked about it. Is that's
I
a?
said, is that a part of grieving?
Well, no, you asked it. You that wasn't. That's definitely not what you asked. That's you asked something
I
different
said,
in reference to the
I
courts.
said no.
If it's okay or not,
I know what I
or
said
should we
was,
do it
is
or
it a
not?
part? I said, is it a part of grieving, or are these family members that just got pissed off, whatever, and I originally started off with, because I had a conversation with someone a couple of years ago, who thought that victims statements were not necessarily, and not necessary,
Right.
and the family
That's
should
what you.
just
Yeah.
and the family
Right.
should just move on. And I said, well, should they move
Right.
on, or is it grieving? So is it grief?
Right. So if they should move on or make, I don't know necessarily what the case may be, but I was thinking more so in reference to the situation, in context. If it's a, something like that, I don't know if it should be applicable, making the victim stand. But I mean, the person did the crime, so they got to deal with all that. I get that, but I'm just saying there's this point to where, why we don't just automatically kill people that kill other people. As a school shooting happened, they killed, and that person's still alive. It's the reason why we don't go off and just off with its head, because the humanity of that. Now, if you say I is for I, hey, I'm not nobody's judge. You know what I'm saying? I can understand why, but I'm just trying to get a litmus of, if you're gonna, say, if you're going that far, some of those people, I feel like that's what they want. I want to take your life, but what does that do for you in the end?
No,
Does that make you feel better? Maybe it makes you feel better. Maybe it does. You got what you deserved for making that super mistake. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But I just
but
want,
okay,
you know,
but chill. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in the death penalty?
uh, I mean, I don't. I want to say no, because I think if you really want to torture somebody, if I think the death penalty is meant to be the ultimate sacrifice, but that's really not. The ultimate sacrifice is making somebody live through what they did, and that's what it is. I feel like, so if you want to really torture somebody, sit their ass up in the room and make them and play that shit for the rest of their life in their head. Now that's worse than the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? Or there's plenty of things worse. So you kind of letting them off the hook.
The reason why I ask is because, you see where people who, especially, here in California, you'll sit on death row until you die. To me, there is no such thing as death row here. But you see people who are walking to death row, and you know they've admitted to killing the person, whatever, or and they've killed this person in a horrific way. Either, you know, I've seen people who have did their death walk where they bludgeon somebody, with a hammer, and just awful ways. But murder, either way, however you died, it's in an awful way. But yet they're
I,
howling and screaming, "Oh, please, please, don't kill me, don't kill me!" And I'm, and when I see that, I'm saying to myself, well, or some of these groups who say, well, no, the lethal injection, that's inhumane. But it was also inhumane for you to, knock that old man upside the head, and beat him in the head with a hammer, 10 times. I'm supposed to
mhm,
worry about you getting a shot? I mean,
mhm.
this is what I'm saying. It seems like that, you know, depending upon what it is, if the person is truly guilty when it comes to murder, you know, I'm over here grieving, and I'm supposed to worry that you're, upset that you're about
Mhm.
to, get
No, that's
a
not what I
lethal
was saying though. That's not, I
injection.
wasn't speak. Yeah, I wasn't speaking about that though. That's totally different. That's why I was saying contextually, like it's different. That is different from just like a manslaughter case. So when you ask that question, I'd be like, it depends on what's the
Thank you very
situation.
much, Mr. B, for coming and listening. I do appreciate it.
But I do know in reference to oh, man, lost the murder shit like that. I would rather have fuck the death penalty. Like I just don't kill them. Anything, if slavery was to come back, let that motherfucker work for me. I want them. I may hopefully get rich and give me 70, 80, 85% of his. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I feel like you can make these people a lot more useful as a
Okay,
society,
so
and
okay,
sometimes they can maybe become better people overall. They made mistakes, but everybody didn't like. It's just I don't know. I feel like it's a
well,
better way to do it.
what's the difference between and crazy lady? I'm gonna want to know
If you about to be make them pay,
what you
let's
think
make them
of.
pay.
Wait, hold on, because okay, so you want to take 75% of their paycheck, whatever, even if you were, taking $10
Nah, I
a
mean,
week, whatever. I'm just
or
saying that you want to take.
100%.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
you take a 100% of their paycheck. What's the difference between you taking 100% of their paycheck and someone writing out a check every year? Either way, the person's going to know that every time they get paid, they don't get paid, and why they're not getting paid. So what's the difference between that and writing a check
But that's
every
not. Well, that's still not applicable to what I was talking about. I'm talking about we talking about murder or
right,
I was
right,
talking about
right.
manslaughter. Like
Okay,
that's not the same
okay,
thing.
okay. But even if, excuse me, it
It's
is
just
still death.
apples and oranges.
Okay, chill. If you
It's
take
a, it's
100% of
apples
my paycheck because it was
because you're a mass
manslaughter.
murderer and you shot 10 to 12 children and he gets like it's my point is like I'm not saying that to have to be but like that's not the same as manslaughter. It's not. So when I was speaking, I was specifically speaking about when would it be cool? Is it cool to give victim statements? I'm thinking like in the case of a murderer, yeah, but that's not. So we're not talking about that. I mean, when we talk about manslaughter, yeah, I think that's different. But like when we're talking about, it's a totally different thing for actual murder, gang banging, stabbings. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's
Now
that's why I
see,
was saying it's
okay,
apples and
but see,
oranges.
I think death is death. So with the checks, are you saying that's for manslaughter?
Nah, death is not death. How can you say that death is death?
Because
It's death.
somebody's dead. Because somebody's dead. If I don't care if you accidentally hit them with the
Okay,
car
so
or
how
if
many
you shoot them with a
corporations do you
gun,
hate this?
they they
So
are
how many
still dead.
corporations do you hate? How many corporations do you hold accountable for what they've
A
done to
lot,
people and their
a
kids?
lot for
I'm just
cancer
saying,
and all that stuff,
yeah. So I
and
mean, so
yeah,
yeah,
and
but
death
you
is death,
still will go
and they need to
but we still buy from those corporations every day. You're not letting them off the hook.
chill. You have a
I'm
point there.
just
I know. No, you no. I am going to tell you. You do have a point, but I guess where I'm disagreeing with you, and I'm not trying to change your mind or anything. I'm just disagreeing with you. I think that
oh yeah, that's cool. It's
you
okay.
to me you to me it seems like that you're saying that if I accidentally take my car because I'm drunk and have a DUI and I run you over, that's not as bad as someone who came in and was robbing me and shot me with a gun and killed me. Dead is dead. Either
But
way,
that's
that
that's
person's
that's got you.
but either way, that family's members loved one is not getting up and coming home. So I don't care if you shot me with a gun or if you ran me over with a car. A person, if they want to do a victim statement, let them do it. Why? I mean, no, you don't get the privilege of not hearing from me just because you had a quote unquote accident.
All right. So I think that's what I'm saying. That's why we're human. That's why we are able to differentiate what what is reasonable and what's not. Because to say dead is I don't know if that's a that's I don't know about that because I
Well,
mean,
I
all right.
mean,
So if we're just like we're results driven, like whether is it just death that we're doing that with, or just accidents? Because some things can happen that's catastrophic that are literally accidents, and although we shouldn't have been doing it, I don't know. But and they're like, well, you know what? It happened, so it happened. So you should
okay,
be damned for it.
okay, all right. Hold on. Before you go on, crazy lady, do you want to say anything? Do you want to add to the conversation? Okay. I guess she isn't there. I just want to give her an opportunity. Oh, okay, chill. So Did you hear about the children about this must have been about 7 years ago who were pushing shopping carts off the top floor of a parking lot? Did you hear about that?
No, no, no.
Okay, kids. Before you go, Captain Jimmy, before you pop out again, I just want to say to you, Juju and I were looking for your show about 2 weeks ago. You gave us the wrong time. It was not you said 8 p.m. Central. But it was
Yeah, I
actually,
had.
yeah. So I just want you to know that Juju and I, because we kept looking for it,
I
and then when I saw
apologize.
your email, yeah, so it was 5 o'clock for me. So I
How
want you
dare
to
you,
know
Uh,
that I was
Jimmy?
not purposely not coming to see your show. I
no,
honestly,
it's okay. I actually
so
had some complications. I had some complications with my show anyway. Because like first of all, I went out of town, and then I couldn't do my show because I went out of town. Or at least the first show I couldn't do out of town. And when I got back
oh,
to do the second show, I had real bad thunderstorms over here and it knocked the power out, so I couldn't really do my shows.
okay. But I
And
just
then
want
I'm
you to know that
having,
I just want you to know that that Juju and I
yeah.
we did try because we were like, can you get him whatever?
Oh, I
So
appreciate that. Yeah.
okay,
But I'm just
okay.
gonna let you know because I'm having real bad thunderstorms again over here. So if I cut off or I disappear, it's because I lost the signal.
Okay. All right. All right, because I'm getting into it with chill here. So
Oh,
okay.
cool.
So
Mm.
so chill. I mean, I'm just saying that whether again and with those boys, they were pushing shopping carts off of the fourth floor, I do believe, of the supermarket of
What?
the parking lot. And one of the carts hit a lady and it killed her. And you guys can Google this. I'm not making
What
it up
the
or anything.
fuck?
So when they go to court, you know, some
Involuntary
people wanted
manslaughter
them.
is gonna be there.
Well, no, they wanted to. On one hand, they wanted to say try them as minors, and the other people were saying no, try them as adults. And these kids were like 13, 14 years old, so they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing was, was dangerous. So chill.
Yeah,
So
but
let
I
me
didn't think
ask.
they expect to
Wait,
kill someone.
hold on, Jimmy. So chill. I just want to ask you. So because of their age, was that just something stupid that they were doing? And I'm not supposed to go do a victim statement. I'm supposed to say, oh well, yeah, they were only 13, 14 years old, and yeah, okay,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that you don't do nothing like that. But I'm just saying in certain situations, I'm not quite sure if it'd be. I don't know if it's. I don't know how to. I have questions about it being arrested. I mean, of course you can do it. Yeah, I mean, if, whatever the family needs to get by, that's you. Like, hey, fine. If they would, that's what they
okay,
requested. Sure, but
okay.
I don't necessarily know if that's the most humane thing to do after a child does something stupid. Like I don't know if we you can because you're saying to be results driven or just like the end just at the end driven
Just
like the you know what I'm saying.
you
You know what I'm
saying
saying? Like not out.
the end justifies the means, or
Well, I guess not necessarily that, but it's just like you results driven. Like this is what happened, and because it's a difference between me. An action could be an action, but the intent is huge behind something. If I
right? But
mistakenly
that
do
doesn't
something,
mean that I
uh,
still can't do a victim statement. You're
right,
saying
right, right,
because
right.
it
I
is
got you.
right,
I
yeah.
got you. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know exactly if that's the most humane thing to go through that. It's not as if they're not going through enough already. Depending on, I mean, if there's just a horrible human being, would normally like stupid kids doing stupid stuff that happens all the time, and if there's a mistake that happens, so something like that, a friend may pass. It doesn't gotta be cars. It could just be somebody playing outside and somebody falling down or getting hurt and busting their head. It's just like, oh yeah, well you were out there, you playing, and or y'all was fighting. You pushed him down, and he hit his head, and it was just a regular fight. Like
Okay, but
you don't
that
necessarily.
to me that to me is different because if you all are outside playing, and you're roughhousing and things, get a little out of hand. I'm saying
I'm just
if
giving a
you
scenario.
got
I don't
no
have to
no
be
no
that one
I
though.
no no I understand what you're saying, but there's a difference to me from purposely intentionally, you know pushing a shopping cart or getting into a car and driving, whether, to me, there's a difference.
But you're not
So,
purposely. If you're drunk, you're just typically not thinking straight, though. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
And before you get drunk, you should know that you will probably get drunk, and you should not, and like I said, you should not get into that car. But hold
But we're
on,
being
chill.
specific on these. I'm saying, I'm trying to say, I don't want to get hyper specific on each situation. I can bring up a million different situations, but my point is it rational to let that person make a victim statement after whether it was a child, whether it already feels like really shit. Well, now, no matter what it is it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's the point
Okay.
I'm just trying to
All
drive
right.
home.
Okay. And that's where
Yeah.
where we disagree.
Right. I
So
got you. Yeah.
so Captain Jimmy, welcome again. So do you want to add anything?
Well, I mean, the way I see it is, like you were saying about intent. Now, was their intent to purposely hurt or harm somebody, or were they just being stupid and throwing the carts off? And then so happened someone had to be passing by when they threw that cart off and they killed them. I
But
mean,
you're okay, but Jimmy, you're not taking a cart and just playing in the parking lot. You are on the fourth floor of
well,
a
I can
supermarket.
tell you, yeah, I
So
could tell you,
so
and
don't you think that some common
from my
sense should be there?
experience, yeah, I feel you, but from my experience being a dumb teenage boy and doing when I was a teenage boy, I did a lot of stupid shit, and I wasn't thinking. I never even thought about the consequences or what ifs or the possibilities. I did it because a I was bored as hell, and b now that I'm saying this out loud, I sound stupid. I like, oh man, I was really stupid. It was a because I was bored, and b because I can do it. So I was just like, oh, the hell with that. I'm gonna do something stupid, because I can do it just to, please myself, just to make myself not bored. Now, that's what I was saying about intent. Now, these boys, if with their intentions were not to hurt or harm or kill anybody, I can't see trying them as an adult. Now, I can see them going to court and being tried for involuntary manslaughter because they did kill somebody involuntary. I mean, they didn't. Their intent wasn't to kill somebody, but they did kill somebody. I can see them getting punished. They do need to go to court and get punished for
And does the
their
family have the
their
right
crime.
to give a victim statement?
And does the family have a right to do a victim statement? I say so. In my opinion, yes, because the family is a victim. It's not just the victim who got killed; it's the family. And let's face it, there's no such thing as one victim when it comes to a perpetrator or the suspect attacking one person. They attack the whole family and everybody
Right.
that they know.
Hmm.
So yes,
And
um, they do deserve to do a victim statement. I don't think, or I personally don't feel that they need to bash these kids because they're going through enough already. They have to live with the rest of their life that they accidentally killed somebody, and that's punishment in itself enough. Knowing that your stupidity killed someone, you have to
But
live
that's
with the rest of that.
contradictory, right?
but again, okay, I guess
Well,
what
that's not
where
contradictory. I'm
okay,
just
No,
saying
of course it
they can
would.
give
Yeah.
a good victim. They
okay,
could give a victim statement, but it doesn't have to be the intent of maliciously being, being malicious or being an asshole to those
okay,
kids
but
because those
okay,
kids didn't
but
do it intentionally.
okay, okay, but well, see, I have to.
But that's the reason
Okay,
to give one.
all right, well, no,
No,
chill, no, you aren't. And Bob says intent is a huge part of it. That's why there is manslaughter. Okay, I'm not
exactly.
talking about the intent. I'm talking about the fact that if you get right when I am in court listening to your child
Hmm.
bawl his eyes out or whatever and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Or if I'm listening to an adult bawl their eyes out saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, because I got behind a
Hmm.
wheel of a car and I killed someone. I
Hmm.
understand the intent. You may not have intended to do it, but it happened. I'm not talking about, my point is the victim statement. That family is grieving. They are going through some stuff. So if it comes out where they're bashing whatever, they're pissed, they are hurt, they are still trying to get over the fact that, like I said, I mean, all kinds of emotions are going through
Hmm.
through everyone. So again, it's like I'm not going to sit here and recheck what I just wrote to make sure that you feel better, because I'm trying to make myself feel better. I'm trying to get through so I can get through my grieving. I'll deal with you later about your feelings. I'm talking about, don't say that I can't give a victim statement because it was manslaughter, or you did something stupid, whatever. I should still have the right to say what I'm going to say, and then I say
Sure.
it, and then that's it. So I understand the intent or everything, but I'm not going to give you a pass just because you did
Well,
something
not
stupid, or whether you're a
right.
kid or whether you're 30, whatever. I'm still, your family can still visit you, but I'm visiting a cemetery.
Right.
So, but
So,
does that
well,
make it
that's why I'm
okay?
saying they do it in a respectable way. You don't do it in a malicious way to where to where it's very ugly in a sense, because that doesn't make you any better than them.
No, no,
It-
no, no, it doesn't. But you can't tell someone how they should respond to someone who killed your loved one, whether it was whether it was maliciously done like murder or it was manslaughter. Then what you're saying is, I'm telling you how to grieve. I'm saying, okay, well, you can say it, but you can't say it like this. You can't. People, their emotions are going to come out, and they may start with, okay, blah blah blah, and then it may end up where I mean, because we've seen it where people are howling and screaming and jumping up and down and what have you. I
And
mean, come on,
okay, so
come on,
real,
and wait, chill, hold on before you go on. Shy lady's been waiting, so welcome, shy lady.
Hey, Shelley.
Are you
Hi,
still there?
everybody. I just been listening, and I feel a couple of ways about situation. I think it depends on the person as far as the person who committed the crime. If they were young, I remember a few years ago there were some kids in Michigan. I think about four of them who had dropped a brick off of a bridge, and it killed a man. I think he was either going to work or coming from work, and hit his windshield and went through his pickup truck. And I'm sure, I think these kids got probation or something. Um, and I think some of them were really remorseful, but I think most of the time, kids at that age don't really understand the consequences of their actions. Just recently, this kid from New York was what they call surfing, getting on top of the trains, and he hit his head, and I think he's hanging to life. He was 15. I mean, he's still alive, but he's 15 years old. I just don't think they understand the consequences of their actions. Now, except for one exception, this kid, I don't know if people remember this kid named Ethan Couch, who I think he killed like four people. He was drunk. This happened a few years ago,
I
and
remember him.
he was saying he suffered from affluenza, and to this day, I don't think he has any remorse. And that's just an exception. I think most people that at that age who do stupid things like that, I don't really think they understand the magnitude of what they're doing. I really don't. But when people are in their 30s or even late 20s and you go out driving drunk, that's a different story to me. Now, there's this case I read about this
I can
guy.
argue. I can argue.
Well, let
I
me
can
say
argue
this.
against that
Let me say
about
Wait,
this.
wait, 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 wait,
driving.
wait, 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 Jimmy. Let her finish. Go ahead, shy lady.
Okay, two situations. One, there's this guy recently in the news, Marco Muzo. He's out of Canada. He comes from a wealthy family, a billionaire family in construction. He killed, at 34 years old, he killed three kids under the age of 9 and their grandfather. And it made the news recently. This happened like in 2015, but it made the news recently because the children of the father of those children killed himself on Father's Day, this past Father's Day, because he was so filled with grief. Now, this guy, from the articles that I've read, he doesn't sound like he have a lot of remorse. And even people that have, he got basically probation as well because of his family's influence. And he still wants to live in the area. His family is well known in the area because they build everything there. They're like $1 billion company. And from the articles I've read, he doesn't really seem to have a lot of remorse. He was drunk on his bachelor day. On his he was having some kind of bachelor party because he was supposed to be getting married. But I think that at an age like that, to me, there's just no excuse. My daughter was hit by a drunk driver coming home from college a few years ago when she was 19 years old. And this was a grown man in his 40s. He had been drinking at a bar, and the bar that he was at, he actually left the receipt on the floor, and he had spent nearly $1,000 doing shots with his friends and drinks, just reckless. And this man was in his 40s. He hit my daughter. He was like 3 or 4 times over the legal limit. He hit her so hard that he hit her in the back on the driver's side and then landed. He had a Jeep. It landed on top of the roof of our car. And it was only by the grace of God that she survived and walked away with very little injuries. But when we got there, this man was standing there with vomit dried up on his shirt and just looking crazy. And he's 40 something years old. To me, it's just no excuse. You're that old and you go out drinking and driving. He could have killed her. And I just find no excuse for someone that old to drink and drive. Now, I'll give you this one last example, and then you guys can talk. My son, who's 18, just got over some grief because one of his best friends was drinking and driving alone, and he was coming home from prom. He had just dropped his prom date off, and he was, I think, twice or 3 times over the legal level. This boy's 18, shouldn't have been drinking. He crashed into a tree and did not survive. Unfortunately, his family is going through a lot of grief because of his own stupidity. Now, he wasn't even 18 yet. He was just 17. So again, I think that kids that age do not understand the consequences, whether they are the victim themselves or they cause someone else to be a victim. I really don't think they understand the consequences of their actions. But someone in their 30s and 40s, like I mentioned, the guy who's come from a billionaire family, he was 34 years old, and the guy who hit my daughter that was in his 40s, I think he was about 45. That's just no excuse to me at all. You know better. Your brain is fully developed, and when you were taking all those shots and you left in your vehicle that you could have killed someone. There's no excuse for that. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, I will say, Shy Lady, I do remember when you were going through that, and your whole family went through a rough time. And I want to read what Boss said because I'm going to the comments. He says this argument is a typical quote unquote emotional response versus a quote unquote practical response. Solid is going emotional, and Will and Jimmy are going practical. And Bob, I'm going to tell you, I don't care. I don't care what you say because at least I do have some feelings, and for you to say that to me, you come across very cold. So if you want to pop on and say whatever, that is fine. I'm talking about a victim statement. If you don't want to give a victim statement, don't give one, or you think that somebody shouldn't do it, then do it, whatever. But again, I'm not trying to
I understand what he's saying.
change anybody's mind or anything like that. I'm still going to think the way I want to think and do the think the way I want to think, and I don't care. So I hope I got that
See,
through.
I get what Bob's saying. I don't think he said. When I read it, I don't think he's saying it in a malicious way. I think he was saying
No,
it
no.
in
I
a
know he's not
general
saying. I
way.
know he's not saying it in a malicious way. He's there's also a little bit of politics there. Whatever. It's just something that Bob always says that I
So
go
like, yeah.
emotional, and
So
I'm
like
just letting him
what I
know
was saying
I
is
don't
that I
care.
can make an argument for people who drive drunk. Let's look at it this way: a person who's drunk and they want to go home, that's their intention is to go home. Their intention is not to kill someone. That's why they get manslaughter because it's not intentional. They're just trying to get home, but them being stupid instead of sobering up first or sobering up a little bit and then go. Uh, they decide to drive drunk and they get in an accident and hurt themselves or kill themselves or hurt someone or kill someone else. And but like I said, their intention is not to actually hurt or cause any bodily harm to anyone. They're just trying to get home. and I get it for the first time offenders. Now, if you're a multiple time offender, then I have no mercy for you, because you should understand already after your first accident or incident of drunk driving, you should know better by then. But first, people who commit a first time offense, you know, I understand, because, like, it's a first time offense. They probably have never done it before, or they've never got an accident before drinking and driving, so they think they can keep doing it over and over. But I mean, I'm a very forgiving and lenient person when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes the difference between manslaughter and murder, or intentional and unintentional. And for these kids, these kids were just being stupid. They were probably bored and thought it'd be funny to throw baskets off the top of a fourth floor parking lot, and didn't really think much about the consequences or the possibilities of someone passing by, walking,
I
and
mean,
stuff. So
Well,
I mean, to be
well,
very harsh on these kids, to be extremely harsh, no, but to
but
be
I'm talking about
harsh to give them a
but a victim
consequence.
station. But I'm not even talking about the sentencing. All I'm saying is the victim statement and whether it's emotional or not. Both I
Yeah.
understand what you all are saying, but I'm saying but the family who lost someone, they're still going through a grieving process. And I say to people who say, to practical versus whatever, say that when one of your family members, gets hit by a, drunk driver or whatever, because then the situation changes. Then it's like, oh, I'm, then let me say that to you. Well, you're not being practical, or you're, or you're this, or you're coming down too harsh. I am just saying that in the moment when all of this is going on, you're going through court, whatever. And this is, again, like we know here in the US, a court case can last for years. And you've been dealing
Hmm.
with this. So you're not even getting a chance to even being able to move on because this court case is still here. So now everything's wrapping up and you have the opportunity to say what the very last thing that you are going to say. Whether it comes out tame or whatever, or
Hmm.
whether it comes out bashing, whatever, let them say whatever they're going to say, because that's the last time that they will probably ever see this person again, or hear from them, whatever. But that's their moment. However it comes out, whether they're 15 or 50, a person deserves to be able to address that person, period. Because again, everybody
Sure.
on both sides is going through emotions, and you cannot tell someone, well, keep it nice, whatever. No, 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 no. If it comes out nice, okay. If it doesn't, okay.
and that's what I was kind of saying. That's what I was kind of references Jimmy, letting them know that like it's not. That's not even a. They normally, obviously, it's not just for the bash, but that's what it becomes. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's like a child. And that the only reason I'm mentioning this is that I was trying to make it in context of what when the victim statement probably should be given. And I just don't know if it's for a murderer or I get that, but for like something in that reference, that manslaughter, I don't necessarily know if that seems harsh. And I'm not even just talking about from a victim's perspective or a culprit's perspective. Like I'm just thinking like as a justice system, should we allow that because it can become inhumane at that point? You know what I'm saying, especially if it's a victim statement, you got about 4 or 5 you're going through to a young child that might have made a huge mistake that's already down for the rest of his life. And so I'm thinking to myself, I understand what Silas is saying, like you're not thinking about them. It's about the family right now and them getting what they need to get off closure, right? And I understand that. I just don't know, and I get that. That's the dynamic between the two situations. But as a justice department, should we allow that? I was thinking, like, I don't know if that's I don't know when that should be allowed and when not. I don't know if that's helpful
So
or,
you're
or
saying,
you
so
know,
again, I just want to be clear. So you're saying helpful between manslaughter and murder,
yeah,
or
yeah, like
the
yeah,
or
right,
the
right, right, right,
age
right.
of the person.
Because we were talking about victim statements, right? I was like, it
Right,
depends
right,
on me.
right.
For me,
That's
like
that's
it,
all I'm talking
yeah,
about. That's all
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. So I was thinking, like, I don't know if that in manslaughter cases, I don't know if it will be acceptable. Because like I said, if it's what if it's your child and they made a silly mistake, and it doesn't matter the situation. I was just trying to bring up a scenario that would, some specific scenario. But like I said, it could be your two children fighting. They was at a fight. Boom, one punches the other one, and he falls and busts his head open. And then do you still want to pile on that little kid that's about to maybe be fit 16, tried
But
as an
that's not
adult?
somebody who, okay, but that's not somebody who intentionally got into a
Huh?
car,
They didn't
whatever.
intentionally. Hold on, a person that's drunk, not necessarily. He intentionally punched us, but you don't get in a car intentionally to kill somebody though. He didn't. That little kid didn't punch that person intentionally trying to kill him. You don't
Okay,
intentionally
okay,
try to kill nobody.
you
So you
just
can't
said that.
bring it.
Okay,
So
you just said that
hold
those
on,
kids
solid, hold
were.
on, solid, hold on. I'm. You mentioned that death is death.
It is.
Death is death is death is death. Now you're saying that it depends on
No, 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 no,
if
no.
the.
Okay, this is what I am saying. You just said that some kids were fooling around, and one kid pushed the other person. That they were just fooling around. So, are you saying that they were just playing, or were they
No,
fighting
they
and
were
they were
fighting. They were
duking it
fight. They
out?
were a regular fight, and the kid. It maybe what if it's not even a death? Maybe it's just paralyzation, or you know what I'm saying. It could be
I mean,
something
well, I mean,
of that nature.
if they were fighting, then and they were duking it out, and and you push me, whatever, and I hit my head, and I'm dead, or I'm paralyzed, from the neck down, then there are consequences,
I got that. There are consequences. Correct. I get
and
that.
I should
And what I'm
and
saying,
I should be able to, if that person died, then I should be able to do a victim statement,
mm,
or that family should.
Roger that. Roger that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not even against or for. I just don't know if that's even. I don't know how helpful that is
Okay.
as a whole with the whole situation. How that really it benefiting because there's no way you're gonna be able to get that victim statement nicely. Oh, I mean you can, but you can't. Like you said, you can't stipulate somebody on how to give their feelings. It's a
Well,
victim
I mean, and
statement. It's
see,
for that.
and right, and that's what I'm saying. So, okay, Bob, so you're going to explain on Saturday. Okay, so Bob's going to rip into me on Saturday. Okay, whatever.
Mm.
Okay, so I mean, I am just saying that, and again, I was just referring to the victim statement. It was a question that I put out there, and
Mm-hmm.
just referring to the victim statement. Okay, if people want to address something, they should have the right. If they don't want to address something, then don't do it. But again, you can't tell people how to grieve. You can't tell people, how they should think, whatever. And again, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I threw out the question. You all asked me what I thought. I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
what I thought, and that's it. And whatever, you either agree with it or not, or you can come back at me. I mean, that is fine. But I'm
I
just
I
saying
don't
that
even
you.
necessarily think I disagree or agree. I just think like the results of. I'm thinking more so what happens in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because already irreparable damage done. I feel like it can further that. You know what I'm saying? In
Okay,
certain
and
situations.
also, but like Jimmy said, that there's two families that are affected, so each family is
Right.
trying to deal with it the best way they can. So one
Mm-hmm.
family is trying to find some way to deal with it through their victim statement. The other family is just trying to make sure that their child, or their 50-year-old father or brother or whatever, that
But do we
that
have to do that in the court right now in front of this kid that's already maybe
Yes,
contemplating suicide
yes.
and whatever other step that they're
Okay,
going through?
crazy lady, can you please, because I know why you are saying yes. Do you want to explain to everyone why
Okay,
you're saying yes?
And I'm okay with it. I'm not like I
with
said.
the
I'm not
victim
okay with it.
statement,
I'm just trying to
Well, wait,
get
hold
it.
on, no, hold on, no, because I think other people who are in here also need to understand where I'm coming from. And crazy lady,
Mm.
if you want to, it is up to you. Do you want to explain to people
yes,
why you feel the way
I'll,
you
I'll,
say?
I'll explain why I feel the way I feel. Now, the victim statement, what it is for, and it is read before they are sentenced, okay, is it is your turn to express what you lost, what has been taken away from you. Okay, that's what the victim statement is for. It's for the victim or victims to be able to stand up and say their say in court. Because all throughout the trial, it's all been about the facts. Why, how you guys came to the conclusion of where you're standing now. And everyone's heard both sides of the lawyers and everything. And also, the defendant has an opportunity to say something to the court in their own words.
Sorry, I was on a phone call. My bad.
Um, and that's what the victim statement is for. My daughter gave a victim statement, and it was beautiful. It made me cry. I was trying to find a copy of it. I know I sent one to you, smaller sister, when she wrote it, and I thought it was beautiful. And she was forgiving to the individual. She's like, I understand accidents happen and whatnot. So I mean, it's a chance for the victims to to say their piece. Just to basically to say their piece to you know uh, let it be known on record of what their loss was. You know, personally is what victims say.
Shy lady, do you want to respond to anything?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Jill, go ahead.
Were you talking to me?
Jimmy, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Uh, well, I mean, I have to agree with you. I think, the victims or victims' families have the right to say something to the person who caused a change in their life because of loss of a loved one. They do have the right to say that, say what's on their mind, and I mean it's part of the grieving process, and it'll help them, and also to let that person know that the effects that what they've done
You know
all
what?
around.
I get that, and the only reason I guess I'm speaking from a personal experience as well. I want y'all to think because I've how about this? I was trying to make not this get too personal about it, but I'm just thinking that sometimes even with manslaughter, it's not necessarily you can get in a regular car accident and someone dies and you can be charged for manslaughter. You know what I'm
So are
saying?
you
Yep.
coming? So are you coming from a point of emotion, Will? If it's personal,
I mean, I don't.
I
Not
mean,
not
I
at
mean,
this
I mean,
point.
I'm
Not
just
at
saying.
this point.
I'm just
I
saying
mean,
that
don't be
every
bringing me
side
in.
should
Don't
be
be
able
bringing
to.
me into that shit.
Well,
Down. Don't be
I'm
trying to give me.
asking. No, I'm asking about emotion
No, I'm saying I
because
was
you
trying to
have
keep it
grief. I
from
mean,
that.
but
You know what I'm saying? As far as personal situations, I'm not being.
but
I'm
it's
just thinking
but
logically overall, though. I'm just trying to think. You
but
know,
even if it's personal, I mean, and I'm glad you use that word because it is personal for everyone involved. And Jimmy, I'm sorry, I know I didn't mean to cut you off. So go ahead and finish saying what you were
No,
saying.
that's
So
okay.
nope.
No,
And the
I was
victim
just saying,
statement should have to be
people
turned
do have
into
the
the
right,
prosecuting attorney.
to say what's on their mind. I mean, so they can know what this person did. I mean, especially when it comes to a child or teenager who doesn't know better, doesn't know the full effect of what they did. Now they'll have an idea of what they did, and they're gonna live with that the rest of their life, knowing, hey, I changed the course of this family's life forever for my stupidity, and like I said, people do have the right, but I mean, I find to be more respectable to when they say what's on their mind on these cases when it's uh, manslaughter, unintentional killing somebody, because a human's mind is so fragile. And these are children that they're dealing with, and that these children's minds are still developing and still getting a concept of what they did, and to put that to be malicious to them and say things ugly, you're not going to help those kids. You're going to deteriorate their mental state even more than what it already is. But
but we're not
yes,
worried about them, Jimmy. We worry
let them
about them
know
right
what they
now.
did was horrible and wrong and stuff. Well, you should. That's the problem, chill will.
The victim statement
That's the
does have to
problem with
be turned into
society.
the prosecuting
Nobody,
attorney, though.
people keep saying they don't care about nobody. They don't care about nobody. How do you think this world's going to be a better place if people don't start caring? People need to start caring, need to understand the
Mhm.
fragility of a
I
human
don't
mind. It's
need to
fragile.
care about you if I'm the one that's grieving. I need to disseminate all the angst and all, get it out, no matter what, how it
But
comes
that's not
out.
going to make you a better person if you're not going to care about them. That's a human life as well.
I,
That's my point. It's not like you cannot lower yourself down to a standard worse than that person or at that person's level, because it's not going to make you a better person at all. It's not going to help you with grieving. You're just going to sit there and rot with all that anger and hatred you have instead of letting it go, being better, having forgiveness, because who wants to live like that? Nobody.
Well, let me.
I,
Nobody wants to live like that.
Okay, so
that was my stance, Jimmy. By the way, I was just I was
let's
kind of poking the prod. And,
Oh,
okay,
I see.
so let's take a step back from the whole court thing. Let's just say grief period. Let's just say that for whatever reason, you lost
Jesus
someone, be
Christ.
it, from cancer, be it from,
Uh huh.
they passed in their sleep, whatever. It wasn't murder or anything like that, but you cannot get over it. You're having a hard time. And someone comes up to you and says, you know, um, you need to get over it, or it's been 6 weeks, or it's been a year, whatever. Do people have the right again to tell you how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to grieve, because they feel a certain way, because they think that you should grieve a certain way? People grieve differently.
I'd have to say yes and no on this one because maybe like the person grieving needs help and they just, because yeah, maybe they just need help and they need outside help to help grieve, get over that grief, you know.
Okay,
Uh,
and Angie says it's not up to someone else to dictate how you should be feeling. And crazy lady, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, and I'm just looking at
but not just to
all
get over it,
aspects.
like move past it. No, because no one can,
But what but
hide that. I don't think.
if that person can't move past it, then do you just let that person work it out on their own? If they're not hurting themselves or hurting someone else, they're just grieving. They're, for whatever reason, it's taking them longer. And like I said, why is sorrow so sorrowful for some and not for others? So whatever people do to get over that process, is it up to us, or someone from the outside looking in to say it's time for you to get over it? It is time. Who decides
okay, I can speak
when
to
it
this
is
because this
time?
is
Well,
so
there's
I
a
can.
healthy way, a healthy time of bereavement, and there's a point where it's unhealthy, where it starts affecting that person's mentality and their mental state, and they really need to go talk to somebody, see someone to help their mental state. So
Okay,
yeah, I do
all
Yeah,
think
right,
people have the
okay,
right to tell someone, you need to move on, stop before you lose yourself.
okay,
yeah, that's what I was talking about, Jimmy. Thank
okay,
you.
and if they don't, what if they tell you, leave me alone, I'm just going to sit in my house and be that lady or man, the grass starts to get tall and everything like that, but they're not hurting anyone, and they could, I mean, again, what are you going to call the authorities on them and have them taken away? Anybody?
Oh yeah, I can speak. I didn't know. I didn't want to. I was, but for me, first and foremost, it is when you when you being kind of specific. When people grieve, they typically just don't stay to themselves. Some hurt people hurt other people, and so that comes a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So that overall is in general, and then and like I said, and so that process. That's what I'm saying. The victim statement was a part of that process where I feel like it's not necessarily. I'm not quite sure if it can be helpful, but it can be damning to some degree. I feel like, but who knows? I've never been in that situation, and so it couldn't be a release. Like fine, I got that, but when that is the big question. When do you get over it? When do you stop sulking and make that change? And I think
But
Jimmy kind
okay,
of mentioned it.
but are you sulking? I mean, don't I mean are you sulking? Because to me, sulking means like
Grieving. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Grieving. Wherever you're still in that state where you're not doing well. How long should a person watch their fiance or significant other or son or child? So you saying, well, you know what? Your best friend died 2 years ago. He's just still torn, and he's getting bad grades. He's acting out. So is it acceptable for he becomes to do that for the rest of his life? When are you
no,
going to
no. I
step
mean,
in? So
and that's all my question is. So all my
so
question
when you see things
is
going
it
down the
right?
tube, right? So my answer was, when you see things going down the tube, it's nothing wrong with somebody. It's not wrong for you to step in, and because you
Okay,
care about that person. And I mean, and who is when it becomes destructive? When you see it becoming destructive, I guess the answer would be, if it is becoming destructive, and it ain't necessarily got to be just like they turn into a crackhead, but it just when they just checking out, you got to be able to know. You just, hey, come on, and it may take some time, but yeah, you gotta
okay,
you gotta step in some cases, and some people appreciate that. At the other
okay.
end, when people do that, they'll look back and say, "Damn, I'm so happy for you because you helped me come up out of that."
All right, let me read what Angie says. She says, you don't get over it. You learn to deal with it as best you can or put in strategies to help you move forward. She says, it's not sulking. Boss says, there's only so much we can do for them. Angie said, wrong choice of words. Boss says, being a good friend or family member, you should try to help a grieving soul. But at the end of the day, if they don't want to move on, you can't force them. So, again, this was subjective, whatever. But everybody sees things differently, and people grieve differently, and some of us move on faster
Story,
than others, and others don't.
right?
Shiley, do you want to say anything? Because we're getting towards that mark here. Do you want to say anything?
No, I'm good. Interesting, different opinions as always.
Captain Jimmy, you want to say anything else?
Just I agree with you. People grieve differently, but I think we also have to be, we have to extend that helping hand out to our fellow man, and and like I said, help pull them out of that rut that they're in their grieving, so they won't sit there and lose themselves. Because from my personal experience, uh, I one of my cousins, they lost their best friend to a horrible tragedy. Uh, and she was very depressed for a very long time. She wouldn't go to school. She wouldn't go to work. She wouldn't do nothing. She just wanted to sit at home, cry. In fact, and then I got so tired of hearing my aunt say that, so I just decided one day I got up, went to the house, I talked to her, and and I whatever I told her. I don't remember. This was a while back, but whatever I told her, it snapped in her head. She realized what she was doing wrong, and she was very thankful that I talked to her and got her out of it. And just like we just can't leave a man. Uh, I'll say it this way: we just can't leave our fellow man hanging when we can do something about it. Help him. You can't leave him there.
Okay, all right, that's a good point. Uh, Miss Crazy Lady, only Crazy Lady.
Yeah, none of my
Do
texts
you
are showing
have
up in the
any
chat.
comments?
Well, yeah, I had a whole bunch. I guess none of my stuff's showing up
Crazy
in
Lady?
text. So, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear
Okay,
me?
chill.
Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, awesome conversation, awesome banter.
For real, I like it.
Everybody, thanks for listening, and yes, for the most part, I had the same sentiments. I do think in our grief we tend to be so stuck into ourselves, and which for the viable reasons. But I just never live in losing yourself, like never letting, I don't know, bad the devil, whatever you want to call it, bad energy win is a big deal for me.
Okay,
Opportunity, creating opportunities and of overcoming and things of that nature is opposed to just failure, like it's sometimes for me, is not an option. So I'm a big, try to fight as best you can, but it's easier said than done, obviously. Um, but I try to practice what I preach. I promise you, and I always hope for somebody else to be the same way, just for their own mental health, and to omit that so they can get it back. Because we
Same here,
deserve
my brother.
happiness.
I feel you.
We deserve happiness in life. We deserve happiness. So let it happen.
Okay, so I want to go back to Crazy Lady. Did you have something you wanted to say, Crazy Lady? Okay. Well, all right, everybody. I am going to wrap it up. And again, thank you very much. Oh, and before I go, I want to also say what Angie said. She said, I had a situation where questions were left unanswered and it was a really difficult situation. Took years to get over that for various reasons. Uh, okay. And
Here's some food for thought. She says she had questions that were unanswered. Now, these questions were these questions that you should be asking, or were these questions you were fishing for answers that very well you weren't going to get, you were never going to get the answer for those, because that's a dangerous thing that people play in their mind, asking questions and questioning things, or coming up with questions that they know very well they're not going to get the answer to, or they're not going to get the answer that they want, and they know it. They just trying to push that button and see if they can get in. That also plays a mental factor on a person's mind too. That can do deterioration to a person's mind. So you got to be careful when you ask certain questions.
okay, Angie says my dad was taken suddenly and was to do with childhood. And Angie, I'm gonna tell you, I can relate to that because when my mother passed away, there were some questions that I had asked her, and she refused to answer. And to this day, it kind of makes me a little angry, whatever. But yeah, sometimes those questions, you do have questions that aren't answered, and they could be simple questions, they can be detailed ones, but yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. And again, thank you everyone for coming. It was a lively conversation. And Lou Rock and Frankie, thank you very much for your gifts.
It's
I
awesome.
appreciate
I
them.
love it. You come up
And
with some
Jimmy,
awesome topics to talk about. I'm just blown
and
away with some of the
and it
topics you come
always,
up with.
and sometimes they get me in trouble. But
I feel you.
again, I try to, Shield says he tries to stay true to himself, and I try to stay true to myself. And again, I'm not out here. This is a conversation that I'm having. We can agree, we can disagree, but at the end of the day, I hope that we all were able to listen to each other and just, go back and forth, whatever. And if you come away with something, you do. If you don't, you don't. But I appreciate you all even showing up. So, and thank you. So on that note, Captain Jimmy, I'm gonna look forward to your. I keep saying Captain Jimmy, even though you are Captain Jimmy. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to your next show on Wednesday.
I am. I am gonna do a show tonight. I'm gonna talk about a particular unsolved mystery that even to this day, nobody knows who this child is. That's how much
Okay.
of an unsolved mystery is. They haven't even identified who the person is yet.
Well, can you tell me what time, the real time?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do this around 8:30 p.m. tonight, which would be
Okay, is
Central
that
Time.
Central? Okay, Central. So that's
Central.
6:30 my time. I'm in California. I'm 2 hours
Okay.
behind you. So I'm
Yeah.
that's specific. So
Yeah. I
Juju,
I,
you
I
hear
said
that? So
yeah.
you're Eastern. So that's an hour ahead of you.
What's
So
that in UK? UK. Okay. What's your time zone in UK? I can look that
well,
up real quick.
Ba is 8 hours ahead of me. So I always have to put him on my time on my world clock. Should be 11 o'clock there, Ba.
Oh yeah, 11 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, y'all are 3 hours, right? 3 hours
so
ahead over there.
well, I mean, it's 3 o'clock here for me, and it's 11 o'clock there for him. So
Oh, so he's 6 hours. Oh, okay. He said it's
He's
11 p.m. You're 6 hours ahead, so
I'm
for
I'm
me,
I'm
that's
he's 8 hours ahead. Oh, you're 6 hours ahead for you. Yeah, 6 hours ahead for you.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, I need to listen when you publish. That would be 2:30 a.m. for me. Yeah,
okay.
that probably be too. Yeah, yeah. I'll
Well,
Oh,
definitely publish
solid,
that
solid,
episode.
solid. Real quick, real quick. Let me borrow $5 real quick to Monday.
not in,
I give it
not
right.
no.
I give it right back to
You're
you. I
gonna
give it
have
right
to
back to
you're
you.
gonna have to write me a victim statement in order to get it. So
Ah, come on now.
have to write me a victim statement.
I didn't run out here and get these
So
cigarettes real quick for my.
yeah. So oh, okay, you guys. I am officially at my 2 hour mark. So enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And yes, I'm gonna say it. Go where the wind takes you. And I hope to see you next time, which is tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
And I will be there, Jimmy.
Alrighty.
But
Later, everybody.
I'll still check an hour earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
Like I said, I'm gonna try because we're having really bad thunderstorms over here. My power gets knocked out. It's been getting knocked out, so I'll try.
Okay. And Miss Brina, Frankie, Power Girl, Angie, all of you guys, thank you. Shy Lady, Lou Rock, Alpha Mike was here earlier. Sam I Am was here. Pish was here. Pish could have been a troll, but I'm not sure. But either way, thank you all for coming. I do appreciate it. And on that note, I am going to sign out.